Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner.
I'm Peter Owen Jones. I'm a vicar in the Church of England, and I'm turning my world upside down. I'm going on an extreme spiritual journey to find oneness with God in the eyes of 3 world religions. I'm seeking the spiritual enlightenment that I believe we in Britain once had and have now lost. It's not going to be easy. This journey into alien worlds will test my physical and mental endurance right to the limit.
I can't go any further.
I'll be living with the Kung Fu monks of central China, the wandering mystics of the Indian Himalayas.
This is God in colour.
And the Christian hermits of the Egyptian desert.
Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me.
I need to explore the minds of men and women who have renounced the material world forever and who claim to be at one with their Creator. I want to test their beliefs for myself. In this program, I'm going to journey with Indian sadhus, holy men both feared and revered, men who have left this world and entered another, ghosts, mediums between the gods and the rest of humanity. Okay, let's go. I know that their divine knowledge has been won by hardship, pain, and privation.
I do get a bit freaked out at night.
And to learn from them, I have to become an extreme pilgrim. Why is it all about you? India, early morning on the main line from Delhi eastwards towards the city of Allahabad. After 36 hours of travel, I'm nearly at my destination, the Kumbh Mela, the great Hindu religious festival held every 6 years on the banks of the Ganges. What we're hoping to do when we get there is to meet some people called sadhus. Sadhus are Indian holy men, and we're hoping to actually see if 1 or 2 of them will take me on, and so I can start to explore this extraordinary 3,500-year-old spiritual tradition. And I want to see whether that affects my understanding of God and my understanding of the divine. Is the sadhu view of the divine the same as the Christian view of the divine? In my day job, I'm a parish priest in the comfortable south of England, and it's not something I'm going to give up. I love my job with its ancient traditions and emphasis on human love. God's For countless generations, the people of my parish have lived and died believing that if they maintained their faith in God in this life, they will receive salvation and eternal life in the next. In India, you have to earn your way to salvation. That's why every 6 years, Hindus converge on the banks of the Ganges for the Kumbh Mela. Forget Glastonbury. Forget Piccadilly Circus. There are 7 million people here at this festival. A sea of seething humanity. Hindus believe they are trapped in an endless cycle of death and rebirth. Salvation or oneness with God releases them from this cycle, but it can take many lifetimes of sacrifice, acts of devotion and purification to get there. And nothing is more purifying than the river Ganges. The reason why there are so many Hindu devotees here is because they have come to wash themselves. They have come to wash away their sin in this extraordinary river, and this is something that they have to do, to take this ritual bath in the Ganges. And being here, you can't argue with that. You can't argue with the strength of feeling that these people hold in their heart. They also come to be near to and to be blessed by the holy men, the sadhus that I'm seeking. And over there, in a vast tent city that looks like a medieval battle camp, are thousands of them. The sadhus themselves believe that the road to salvation can be achieved in one lifetime through the rigorous practice of self-sacrifice and physical austerity. Those who have achieved this advanced state of being have become gurus, the teachers of the Hindu faith. Each one sits around a dhuni, the holy fire, surrounded by his followers and devotees, eager for a few words of wisdom. They bear the marks of the austerities they practice. This guru boasts a withered arm raised permanently above his head. Another is weighed down by countless beads. I need to find a guru that will take me on and show me the holy way. But it's an alien world to me, and I find them all quite intimidating. Eventually, I pluck up the courage to ask one guru. I'm sorry to bother you. If you could possibly help, would it be possible to say it is a great privilege to be invited to sit around the dhuna?
महाराज जी बहुत हमको अच्छा लगा आपके पास बैठ के और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आपने हमको बुलाया बैठने के लिए और हमको बैठने दिया धुने के पास इसके लिए हम बहुत आभारी हैं 100 रुपया राखी आ गए He is saying be happy, be prosperous, and he is more than happy that you all are here to understand a religion, a culture which is totally different to you.
Very different, very different. What would he say to a very young sadhu?
संदेश मतलब जैसे
सेवा मतलब भावना उनकी सेवा भावना अच्छा मिले विश्व का कल्याण के लिए
Service is the first basic thing which one has to understand.
Little different from songs of praise. My new friend's called Vashist. He too is a sadhu and he offers to show me the camp of his own guru.
Gu means darkness, Ru means the light.
Okay.
The one who removes you from darkness and put into the light. That's your guru.
Okay.
All the problems, all the tensions of life, all that is gone. And then you are just one with yourself.
I soon find from Vashist that sadhus are highly organized and most of them belong to the 13 different orders, sects, called akaras.
Okay. I belong to Juna Akhara.
Okay.
So we proceed to that Akhara.
Okay, I've never been, so we will come with you. You are
Yeah,
very
sure,
gracious.
we should.
Thank you. Thank you.
रास्ता छोड़ दें प्रभु बहुत हो गया This is the Akhada's elephant. चिलम देना वहाँ पिएंगे
एक चिलम तो गुरु कराओ पूरे चिलम जाएगी मार ले
हाँ
Vashist, what is this you're giving them? Is it candy?
It is some dope for their smoking.
Ah, some dope for this.
Yeah, they are sadhus, they smoke dope.
चिलम तो जब पूरी करो कम से कम हमारी ए मैं जी महाराज तुम नहीं रहे चल गए आपको ये मनी तो बताइए आपने
Do all sadhus smoke dope?
In Juna Akhada, mostly all.
Okay.
And here is our camp, and we have arrived. So this is my camp, and my Guruji is sitting on the top of the
Okay.
gadi. So we are welcomed here.
Okay.
Please sit. Speak,
Sit.
have a seat.
Thank you.
Put your bag and go and do as I do, ne?
Okay.
Oh no
Sit.
Vashist Guru says nothing. He just sits, smiling and watching everything. I'm invited just to sit too and bathe in his presence.
ऐसे बैठने देना
बड़े होकर के
विद्वान अच्छा पुरुष
विद्वान और
stranger still is the one-handed apparition that sits at the Guru's side, ministering to his every need. As night falls, more visitors come, including an itinerant band. They seem to be singing songs exalting his status and are paid from a pile of notes at the sadhu's side. Later, I'm led to an inner tent where Vashist offers me some hash. Sadhus see it as fundamental to their religion. Why the hash?
Smoking hash was used as an instrument to concentrate your mind. Sadhus, quite disciplined they are in their eating, in their drinking, in their sleeping. In all the behavior, there is some discipline. It doesn't affect them much. The one who don't have discipline, it affects.
Really stoned. Ashish is wrapped by a rainbow. And the Guru wears a lot of orange. So I think it's time I got some sleep. Next day, I begin to see how it all works. The camp is maintained by a small army of devotees and initiates. Once again, I'm invited to sit with the Guru. His name is Jagdish. Are they your brothers?
ये सब हमारे भाई हैं।
Is there any advice that you could give me as to how within my short time here I can try and enter the mind and the heart of a sadhu? What should I do?
ऐसा है कि उसके लिए आपको सब मतलब अपने आप को बिल्कुल समझने का प्रयास ना करो। जो भी आपका ये बॉडी है, ये नहीं मतलब सुन कि मेरे ये बॉडी नहीं है, सब अचराचर एक ही हैं, सब संत सभी में वो भगवान व्यापमान है।
Later, I take the first steps in what will, I hope, be a route to enlightenment. As a vicar, Jagdish sees me as a holy man already, so I'm being fast-tracked into the order as his pupil, just as well, because I'm being spared the indignity of having my hair shorn.
ऐसे ही हमारे भस्मी लगाने के बाद केस ऐसे ही बनते हैं सबके, केस की तो कमी नहीं है।
Okay.
And then that goes underneath my tackle.
And be careful, it should not get wet with a piece or anything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
No, walk a step or two step ahead. And it's okay?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not quite sure where I am in these encounters, and so I'm listening all the time to try and work out where the line is, where my line is. I'm very aware that there's very serious protocol that I mustn't, and there are certain marks that I mustn't overstep.
गुरु पता नहीं क्या क्या कर रहे हैं, हम उसको देख देख के करेंगे तो हम तो पागल हो जाएंगे। गुरु मर्यादा के लिए गुरु के पीछे पीछे चलो, है ना। गुरु करता है वो मत करो, गुरु कहता है वो करो, है ना। ये तो मिट्टी का शरीर है, मिट्टी में मिल जाएगा। जितना भजन करोगे वही साथ में जाएगा। कलयुग में भगवान नहीं मिलने वाला है, गुरु का नाम सुमरने से पार हो सकते हो।
Not all the Guru's visitors are welcome. These are the Vitari. They are eunuchs, and they dress as women, but they are in fact men. Traditionally, they will come and sing when a house is just finished completion or when someone's given birth, and they won't go away until you've paid them. And they're not actually that good. You've given them cash?
You gave me some security.
Okay, well then they've done quite well. We've given them 100 rupees.
Tell them we've already given. I gave them just now.
I mean, what a life. You have your testicles cut off, you go around dressed as a woman singing incredibly badly. I mean, you're not going to be that popular wherever you go, frankly. This is an extraordinary system. What happens is that people come in and give Jagdish, the guru, money. He then puts the money under his carpet, and then other people tip up, and then he gives the money away. This is how Christ would have lived. I mean, really, you know, when we look at Christ and his disciples, he was a teacher, he was surrounded, you know, he had his own inner circle, and then there were the camp followers, really very similar. Also, you know, look at India. Here we have an incredibly moralistic, stratified society, and within the midst of that, here are men completely naked, where nudity is a real taboo in India. They hang out on the edges of villages, they get stoned off their heads, and yet this is valued. You know, the Church of England has been sort of genetically modified over generations by the government, who sort of make sure that the bishop's a good man and, you know, is going to do this. We've lost that real edge. But I'm not sure that at the bottom of it, the theology is actually that different. There's a much greater emphasis here on the denial, the dissolving of self. And it's really that I have to try and get to grips with. It's the early hours of the 19th of January. The rising of a new moon makes it the most auspicious day of the festival. Pilgrims are still arriving, and the Maile is full to bursting point. At dawn, 7 million people will take their ritual bath in the Ganges. The highlight of the morning will be the procession of naked sadhus and initiates down to the holy waters. I've decided not to join the procession because it's so sacred to sadhus, it would be disrespectful. But the new initiates are gathering, ready for their first great ritual bath. All are stripped naked and covered with ash from the sacred fire, symbolizing eternal nothingness. Ancient swords appear. They are actually relics of the days when Junarakara sadhus fought firstly Muslims and then the British to preserve their faith. I'm not sure that hash and weaponry is a good mixture at 5 o'clock in the morning, but there we are. At 5:30 a.m., garlanded with fresh marigolds, we set off. As we make our way to the gathering point, the initiates become beside themselves with excitement. This is the last time the Guru and his family of holy men will be together for another 6 years. Tomorrow they will disperse across this vast country. Jagdish holds me by the hand as I'm taken to the strangest places I've ever seen in my life. Down into the innermost alleys of the tented city, into the camps of other gurus, celebrating and shouting as we go. The tent feels claustrophobic, inhabited by living gods. It's like being at Neptune's court, deep under the sea.
वो पगला गया हुआ है कितनी भीड़ का भी देखेंगे बैराग आ रखा है उसके अंदर तुम यहाँ काम करा किधर करा
For Hindus, this part of the Ganges is a power spot, a meeting point between heaven and earth. For the mass ranks of sadhus, the purifying effect of bathing at this specific time are magnified 100-fold. They're happy because they are that much closer to liberation from the endless cycle of death and rebirth. So at the starting point, the sheer joy and exuberance actually make it a dangerous place to be. In the jostling for precedence, there could be a stampede. It is quite simply too dangerous for me to go any further, and Jagdish leads me away. We are just about to be swamped by a sea of humanity. Okay, let's go. As a parish priest, I rarely see my bishop, and I'm staggered by this collective display of devotion and solidarity. This is a festival celebrating that strength of faith. But I need to know what it's like to be an individual sadhu, and by what practical means I can achieve closeness to the divine. And I need to see how a sadhu applies this unshakable faith to the outside world. So for the moment, all I can do is take in this great swathe of humanity engaged in one of the world's greatest devotional acts. I'm ready for the road. The Guru has told me I must go to the Himalayas to do penance and seek enlightenment in the mountains. He's instructed Vashist and a young initiate, Alba, to accompany me as far as his ashram in the holy city of Haridwar, 2 days' journey away. After that, I'll be on my own. On the Lord on the right. On the Lord on the mind. You're beautiful people. Most of the next day is spent on the slowest lorry in India. For the first time, I'm faced with India on a great scale. Its color, its riches, its poverty, its sheer diversity. And I'm struck by how religion permeates every level of society. Everywhere there are gods, so many different types. There are wandering sadhus, even roadside shaman.
That's a very old, primitive way of worshipping nature, na? We can see this is a road full of energy, it's flowing off. So, kissing it, this side and that side, making the two ends meet. That's maybe his philosophy, that's how he is working. He's trying to do something with that fellow sitting in front of him. He must be sick or he must be having some physical problem.
Vashist has one foot in the real world, but he's been a sadhu for 17 years. Alba is just starting his long road. They make good travel mates. We've been roughly following the banks of the Ganges northwards, and near Haridwar the river splits into many channels. Here it's possible to wade across the mighty river, the water's still icy from its source in the mountains. We camp out, and for the first time since I've been here, there's no one around. Have you got any sausages?
Sorry?
Do you have any sausages?
Sausages?
Yes.
What?
Sausages, lovely, thick meat.
We eat pure vegetarian. We don't talk about meat.
This is perfect for a bacon sandwich.
It is, no?
Yeah, you should know that. I need to know from Vashist why sadhus take on their austere lifestyles. Does the sadhu embrace suffering to overcome suffering? So he doesn't have to live in the constant fear of one day I might suffer, one day this might happen, one day that might happen. Is that why the sadhu takes the road of austerities?
Austerities are, we can say, it's the instrument to purify yourself. Purify your thoughts, refine your way of living, discipline, everything. That all includes in austerity. And by discipline, you know what all happens.
The discipline to endure suffering or the discipline to overcome suffering?
A discipline to understand suffering, what it is.
What austerities did you do?
I'll give a simple example, like putting on ash for 12 years.
12 years, every day you put on ash?
2 times a day, in the morning and in the evening. To remind yourself that ashes to ashes and dust to dust. This is the last result of everyone. You don't go outside your heart much, you don't talk to people much, you don't see towards their face, towards their eyes, towards their clothes much. Sometimes really when somebody is in front of you, you do make a conversation, but you avoid everything.
You just go in?
Yeah, inside, just like a turtle. You just go inside, you close all your senses. Then you experience.
As we prepare for bed, deep philosophical questions continue to gnaw at me. What happens in the night if scorpions come here now?
I'm sitting here. I'm awake.
You're awake?
You all sleep, then I will sleep when you get away.
So you wake me when it's time for you to
After
go to
3
sleep?
hours.
After 3 hours?
Yeah.
But how do I see a scorpion in the dark?
You will see it.
I will hear it.
It stings you.
Yeah, you will hear it when it stings me. Have you... What happens if you get stung in the neck?
I think then it's over.
Then it's over. It's over?
Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
I never expected India to be like this. It's almost too much to take in. Around every single bend, every time you open your eyes, you see something extraordinary, extraordinarily beautiful, extraordinarily sad, extraordinarily challenging, extraordinarily humbling. And here I am on the banks of the Ganges, and that's it. But it's lovely. Next morning, Vashist attempts to teach me some yoga moves. He sees it as a vital part of my training for the mountain life of a sadhu. But I also discover that even a sadhu worries about his figure.
When I was doing yoga, my stomach was not like this.
I think your stomach is fine.
No, it is not.
What's the matter with your stomach?
It should be inside, more inside.
Oh, I see.
It's outside, you see this? This should not be there.
That's too many chapatis.
Yeah. Your leg should not lose in its place. It should be there only.
Yes, I can't attach it to my
Slowly,
right buttock.
slowly.
Yeah. Here, like this?
Yeah. You will balance on these elbows.
Like that?
Yeah. Gently release it. The pranayama gives you fire, which is necessary to produce energy in day-to-day life. It purifies you, it calms your mind, and it gives you focus for the day. That's what pranayama is meant.
In the holy city of Haridwar, there are sadhus everywhere, and yet more gods. Vashist has told me there are 36,000 gods in the Hindu pantheon. It's high time I started learning about some of them. Shiva?
Shiva, Lord Shiva, sitting in Kailash.
Kailash, what's Kailash?
His home, mountains.
Oh, okay. Does each deity have a specific purpose?
It does.
Yes.
They symbolize something.
Okay.
Like Shiva symbolizes Kalyan Swarup. Swarup means you feel happy, you feel comfortable, you feel like you have settled down.
Yeah, you feel at one.
At one.
I find all this very hard. Oh, there's so many different deities, and each has their own purpose. I find it very hard.
The power is one, but the manifestations are different.
Yes.
So that people can easily relate to.
There are different characters of the one divine.
Yeah.
This is the gods dwelling in the mountains, in the Himalayas.
Most of them, because the mountain signifies purity, na?
You're elevated above the commerce, the chaos, the madness of everyday life.
Yeah, true it is.
So you go to the mountains for austerities and to learn to dissolve and to find peace.
Yes, you go to the mountains to learn, to do penance, and get self-awareness, and that's where you are going.
I know. I am. Rather terrifyingly. I am actually very apprehensive about going into the mountains on my own. Vashist says I will need a blessing from the Guru. So when we reach his ashram, I'm full of questions and in need of advice. But Jagdish is already one step ahead of me, and what I think will be a simple blessing turns into something altogether different. happened in there. I felt a letting go of desire, a letting go of self, and a letting go of fear. I'm ready to go to the mountains now. A 12-hour bus ride to the mountains takes me off the plain, high into the foothills of the Himalayas. These are the lands of the fierce Rajput hill tribes. This was Vashist's last gift to me. He just looked at me and went, "For dogs." He said to me that sadhus have 4 enemies: thorns, Brahmins, which are the very important priests, women, and dogs. Armed to the teeth. But joking aside, living rough and alone is not the kind of thing I've done very often before. After a few hours of walking even quieter roads, I see the village. It's to be my home for the next week. There it is. Vashist had a cave just outside that village. And his cave, I think, is just to the left. And that's where I'm going. I'm not really looking forward to this. You know, when you're with people, you're safe and you're closeted and you can talk, you can have conversations. This is going to be, if that is the place, lonely, cold, and hungry. Really, I haven't got that much food with me. The prospect is pretty daunting. Aside from the ever-present dogs, I wonder how the villagers will receive me. Excuse me? Kadong? 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 Who knows? They seem more nonplussed than unfriendly. Tadong? 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 Not really sure about all that, really. Mandere? Vashist told me that the cave had been used by many sadhus over the years. I may not look right, but these villagers know why I'm here and where to take me. At length, a boy is summoned to take me to the cave. It's about a quarter of a mile above the village on the main path up into the mountains. It looks like it hasn't been used in years, but inside there's a dhuni, the sadhu's holy fire. That's the dhuni. Needs a bit of work. Rat shit. I wasn't expecting it to be this musty. I was expecting it to be much more open. It's quite a dark place. I can't imagine this place getting a lot of sun. They haven't had rain here for 3 months, so everything's just incredibly dusty. Oh, how kind. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Goat hair. I get on cleaning the place. If I thought I'd be left to my own devices, I was hugely mistaken. Within half an hour, people are shyly, curiously checking me out. Gordon Bennett, thousands of people out here. Oh well. I hope I will be able to spend some time alone. That I'm not going to be some sort of zoo exhibit. Oh. What's... Oh yeah, for the dhuni. Raw, gorgeous, freshly laid. Shite. Cow dung. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. The cow here is a sacred, very sacred animal. And so naturally, what comes out of the cow is also sacred. And it doesn't smell bad, it actually smells sweet. And although this may look like a penance, I don't really feel that it is. Throughout the afternoon, the villagers bring me the essentials of daily life. I'm not prepared for the extent of their hospitality. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so touching. I always feel slightly guilty because here I am being given all of these things and I don't know how to repay their kindness. But that's my own problem. I should accept it gracefully and I shouldn't worry about it. That's really perhaps what I've got to learn to do. It's raining. This is the first rain we've had in 3 weeks. It's the first rain they've had in 3 months. My arrival seems to have been more auspicious than I thought. For the rest of the day, people just keep turning up. Some just sit, happy to be in my presence. Others, like the village chief, who comes with his daughter, have real worries to share with me.
वो तो आपका चरण तो सही पड़ा था कल थोड़ा सा मतलब पावर भी निकल जाता थोड़ा सा क्या दिन ऊपर वाले का है
I will pray for my. I am intrigued as to why he's brought his daughter and not his wife. It turns out she's to be married and he needs my blessing.
महाराज गरीब है क्या करना है हमने खाली बेटी को देना है बस और क्या है गरीब हालत है
Om Namo Narayan.
Om Namo
I found the day surprising and intensely humbling, and I'm forced to confront my role here. Well, so much for peace. It's been like Piccadilly Circus in there all afternoon. I've realised, I can never be a sadhu. I'm a Church of England vicar, but I'm being treated like a sadhu. It's an extraordinary position to be in. It's actually not this great liberation that one assumes it might be, where you're casting off all the clothes and the cares of the world. There are very distinctive things that I'm expected to be and I'm expected to do. And most of the time I'm not really sure what those are. We'll see how it goes. Maybe when the novelty wears off, I'll be able to find some solitude. During the night, I have another visitor. By the next morning, I'm really rather regretting my reaction. I had a little visitor in the night. I'm afraid I hit him with the roti pan. I feel terrible, really. I shouldn't have killed him. I am in his territory. I had no right to do it. And sadhus don't kill things. I'm sorry, mate. I quickly establish a daily routine. Lighting the dhuni, clearing my cave, and meditating. Up here, it seems the most natural thing to do. Shorn of the trappings of my so-called modern comforts, I'm beginning to feel part of this mountain world. It helps that my presence here has been blessed by the head man.
नहीं सर, उसमें कोई अंतर ही नहीं. उसमें साधु के रूप में तो प्राय और आपना का तो कोई संबंध ही नहीं होता है. उसमें अगर कोई साधु संत अगर कोई सही है तो उससे काफ़ी फर्क पड़ती है गाँव वालों को, क्योंकि बच्चे भी काम पे सही रहते हैं, स्कूल के बच्चे भी टाइम से जाते हैं, हर कुछ काम जो है हमारा सही होता है कि स्वास्थ्य अपनी ठीक रहती है और गांव की सफाई होती है और कई लोग जो हैं वहाँ सत्संग में बैठते हैं और जो भी कोई अन्य बात होती है वो सब देव कार्य की बात होती है और सबकी बुद्धि जो है सही रहती है. ना जाने साधु के भेष में भगवान भी होता है, पर उनका ये ठिकाना नहीं है कि महीने भर भी रह सकते हैं, हफ्ता भर भी रह सकते हैं, 3 दिन भी रह सकते हैं. अब साधुओं का और शाम का जो है फिर ये आज यहाँ है, कल वहाँ है, परसों वहाँ है, बस चलते रहते हैं.
For 3 days, I just sit there outside my cave. Just as I have been the focus for the villagers, my immediate environment, because at last I'm still, becomes focus for me. Each and every detail around my limited vision seems amplified until it all begins to merge. A fusion of sound, of voices, animals, water, smells, the humidity of the day, all combine in one synthesis of experience. I'm beginning to see what dissolving the self entails. Perhaps this is the state of oneness. The oneness of everything that my guru Jagdish was asking me to find. Today, as really in all the days here, has been extraordinary. Increasingly in education and how to live alone, but more really in education and how to live, I think. I know that sounds a bit heavy and you probably think, what on earth is going on about? But I haven't been able to sit back really for the last 15, 20 years. I've just had no time to sit back. And it makes an incredible difference when you do. Bits of it are terrifying, but other bits are illuminating. The idea that there is no destination, there's nowhere to arrive, there's no home, you have no home. Your home is incredibly temporary. It's completely alien to how we think about how we're going to live our lives. But that's part of detachment, that's part of not getting attached to places and using that as a prop, saying, well, I've got to do this and I must paint the living room and I've got to do all that. You don't need to do that in this lifestyle. And that's a huge liberation, not to need to do that. There's a small shrine at the top of the hill behind my cave. And as I climb through the parched fields, I'm thinking hard about the acute differences between the villagers and myself and my position here. I think it is possible to become at one with the absolute. Eventually, but other ideas are pulling me back. The realization that I'm a product of a society that recognizes economic well-being as much as the spiritual. I just can't help feeling guilty and angry about these differences. There are 100 families living in that village. There's not one loo. If you need to go for a dump, you have to go to a designated area outside the village. And if you go down there, it's just carpeted with human shit. How many people in the UK could afford to buy these people a toilet? It's a very different view here of holy men. What you bring with you is an escape route from the very harsh realities of life. What you invite everyone to do is to plug in to a much bigger vision. And in the context of the poverty, that is a very powerful sweetener. And I think that what bears testament to that is that they have so little, and yet they are prepared to share what they have with the holy man or holy woman who embodies that vision. That is how seriously they take it. And almost to sustain the individual in his or her quest means that they are also sustaining that vision. They are keeping that vision alive. Thank you for my word. I've realized that I can't do the sadhu's austerities or live up here for any length of time. You at the back in the groovy hat? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Om Namo Narai! Maybe my presence makes a difference to their lives, but like the sadhus before me, it's time to move on. Om Namo Narai! Om Namo Narai! Thank you so much, everyone in this beautiful village, for all your care and your hospitality, your kindness and your love.
आपके आशीर्वाद चाहिए.
I will never forget this place. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I've been in India a month now, and for the first time, I'm feeling weak and ill. But I have to press on and see the Himalayas, the goal of all sadhus, to behold the mountain home of the gods, Shiva and Vishnu, and consider their place in Hinduism. Over the last month, I've travelled from the sacred Ganges to the source of its tributary, the Yamuna, and from a festival of 7 million people to a mountain village of 500 souls. Now there's only me, standing before the throne of the gods. What I've learnt in India is that these holy men aren't aloof from the world. They stand at the very centre of their communities. They occupy this space because they are sustained by the faith of those communities. And I get the sense that that's the spiritual role I would have been performing in my own parish 2 or 3 centuries ago. But I haven't the stomach to ponder more. Illness is dragging me back to more material concerns. Somewhere on my journey I've contracted amoebic dysentery, and I'm all in. At this point, really, I have to admit defeat. I can't go any further. I'm sorry to say. I need to go and find the toilet. Next week, I gather my strength for my last journey with the desert hermits in Egypt.
Over on BBC One, the pressure mounts on Cabinet Minister Peter Hain. He's been reported to the parliamentary sleaze watchdog over thousands of pounds of donations to his failed deputy leadership campaign. We'll have the latest on this story live from Westminster.
And here on BBC Two, Joe Brand and Bill Bailey chew the cosmically coloured fat with Stephen Fry and QI next.